Now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in any marketplace. We want to be that source, and we want to be that quarterback on your team. So reach out to the show. We'd love to put you in touch with our 50 to 60 different show partners, 80 categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got a great lineup for you today. We're going to have Febre Frameworks on the program, Jeanette Salden. We got Mark Hay as well, 21st Century Financial Group, financial planning expert here in Tampa Bay, as well as Martine GRAMATICA in the house from Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com. And before we do, we like to feature our real estate listings live on air and help our sellers profit more and sell faster. So we got a co-listing up in North Carolina, that is 530 Heaton Forest Road. This is in North Carolina, High Hampton Golf Course, beautiful property, 8,000 square feet on a 20-acre estate. Just a gorgeous estate-style, executive-style home, 530 Heaton Forest Road in Cashiers, North Carolina, 8,080 square feet, 20-acre property, magnificent country estate in the mountains of Western Carolina. The home features breakfast porch, patio, 4 fireplaces for cool mountain evenings, as well as the attached 2-car garage, 2-car carport. Got expansive stone driveway space as well. Guest house that has 3 bedrooms and sitting room. You got a barn and a stable there as well for that outdoorsman. 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina. Executive style property, beautiful property on a co-list with Bill DeVore up in North Carolina with his team, Keller Williams team. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we got our friend Martine GRAMATICA back in studio. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you having me back.
Yeah, man. Fresh off a little vacation.
It was nice. Yes, took a little 3-week vacation, which you got to recharge the batteries. So that's what we do.
That's right. Exactly.
That's our summer thing. I tell my kids that's the only vacation we'll take all year. So enjoy it.
Nice. There you go.
That's
Good.
an excuse, and I have to go to Disney.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, much better than what you did going to Disney. Absolutely. And I've heard it kind of metaphor of life. You know, life is almost like a sprint, right? Like you sprint, you work hard, then play hard, take a little mini vacation, take a little break here, recharge the batteries, like you said.
No, and it's important, spend time with the family, especially during summer. I don't, because when we're home, we're never disconnect. We're either working or having something to do. So this is nice to actually spend good quality time with my wife and kids, and some friends, that came with us as well. So that's it's really nice to do.
Now, do you do the family time where you say, all right, all the phones in a box, or the phones are off at a certain time? Do you have any of that implemented in the GRAMATICA household?
The kids are really good listeners. So once I say put the phones down, they listen. So we do that a lot, though, at dinner.
Yeah.
Unless, we have the adults on one table, the kids on the other, and, you can't take away the phone from like 10 kids. So they can, because they communicate through their phone, usually more than they do verbally. But if it's a family dinner, then there's no phones allowed. Right. So, we don't really put them aside. We just... Yeah, they know not to use them.
Make the rule and they'll follow it. That's great.
Yeah, they're pretty good with that.
That's awesome, man. All right, so let's talk about Lifeguard Imaging right here in Tampa Bay. Your great location over at Rocky Point there, and lifeguardimaging.com is the website. But this is a key because it's all about preventative health.
And I guess the biggest message that we want to put out at Brandon is that we're one of 4 in the country that are doing preventative scans. There's no other offices in the area. So
wow.
And that's why when I tell friends and I invite people to come get their complimentary coronary artery scan, which they will get through your show as well, sometimes they're like, well, I don't want to know, I don't have time. You have it in your backyard. It's silly not to take advantage of it, because if you lived in New York, you lived in Philadelphia, you would have to fly down to Tampa, which a lot of, one of our owners is from Philadelphia, and his friends are coming down, and he had a plan. It brought me to this story because it's crazy how, why we're not taking advantage of it locally. It just, I don't understand it, because he flew in from Philadelphia to get scanned, and then they had a whole 3 days planned of, going to dinner, showing him around. All of a sudden he gets a scan, and it's a high score.
Wow.
So he goes, instead of going to dinner or lunch and have a good time, he went straight to the hospital to get more testing. So literally saved his life. And that happens every single day in our office. 1 to 3 lives are being saved through our technology, and it's silly not to take advantage of it when we have it in our backyard.
That is amazing. Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. One of the flyers here says cardiovascular disease is the world's leading cause of death, taking an estimated 17.9 million lives every year, accounting for 32% of all deaths worldwide.
We kind of shifted over and everything that we talked about COVID and everybody was dying of COVID, but nobody mentioned, or we kind of forgot to talk about heart disease and cancer that are taking way more lives than COVID did.
Right.
So, and who knows how many lives weren't COVID, but
Exactly.
Everything was COVID at one point.
Comorbidities, etc.
Right. But this is not going away. Heart
Right.
disease and cancer is not going away.
Right.
And those are diseases that do not discriminate. Doesn't matter what your family history is. Doesn't matter how much you work out. Doesn't matter. None of that. There's no way to figure out why somebody gets cancer or why somebody has heart disease. But we can see it because we're looking inside your body. Especially with a heart disease, it can be corrected.
Right.
If we could catch... I have a personal friend that had 95% blockage in the LAD, which is a widowmaker.
Yeah.
Had a stent put in, and her life was saved.
Wow.
So if we catch it, you can have your life saved. With cancer, the earlier you catch it, the better. Sometimes when it's too late, there's nothing you can do. So that's why setting that baseline and checking year after year is the way to go.
Yeah, I was just reading Tony Robbins' new book, Life Force, and he talks about how much better that some of the early diagnostic testing has gotten, but then you still have doctors that are still doing the old style. You think about like a physical back in the day. You come in, they hit you on the knee with the thing, see the reflection.
Yeah.
Let me look in your mouth, let me look in your ear, and they call that like an exam.
Right.
But there's so much more, especially with the advances in medical these days.
Well, and also the technology, because with our low radiation scanner like ours, you're not getting hardly any radiation, and we're able to see everything. You're detecting things that shouldn't be in your body early, where you can get it treated.
Right.
And yes, the physical, yes, you have to do them, but this is way more, detailed, and we'll see way more than the conventional physical will.
So I was set to take the virtual colonoscopy, and then it kind of fell on a bad time with the holiday, and I didn't.
Bad
follow
planning there, right?
I didn't plan properly. My friend cooked some good brisket, and this and that.
I saw you throw a good party for the 4th, so
Yeah.
it's hard to prep for the colonoscopy when you have a good 4th party.
Exactly. So I was looking at that, and I talked with the office this morning. They said, "Oh, well, let's just put it off a week." And so I said, "Okay, well, next Saturday and Sunday are going to be my prep days. I'm going to be serious about this because you have to do a certain amount of cleansing, etc." And then so the virtual colonoscopy, though, that is something that comes with the Lifeguard Imaging protocol and what you guys offer. And talk to me about that, because Frankie was giving me some distinct differences between the traditional colonoscopy versus the virtual colonoscopy.
Well, the virtual is much safer, because now instead of a 6-foot probe going in through your colon and looking for
Right.
polyps, now we're going to insert 2.5 inches, the size of a pen basically,
Yep.
pump a little air in your stomach. Now you go through the scanner, and we see everything, the inner colon and an outer colon, which the conventional ones only see inside your colon. It
Right.
doesn't see what's outside. So there's been so many cases where a patient has had a clean colonoscopy, but now the cancer was on the outer wall and it seeped in.
Right.
And have died of colon cancer after having a clean colonoscopy. That's
Wow.
the first thing. The other thing is there's no anesthesia. You're not going to be put out, so there's no excuse. You can go back to work that same day.
Yeah.
So,
There you go. Drive yourself to and from.
Exactly. You're not being knocked out, and we, like I said, we see everything, and you don't have the prep. You're talking about 2 days of prep. It's a lot less prep. I'm 46. I haven't had one because I was just fearing the prep.
Yeah.
Of the conventional one.
Right.
I'm thinking like the gallon of the serum, whatever it is, and then you just, there's people saying it's coming out both ends. It's just like the most disgusting thing.
Yeah.
So I just like, man, but it's something we have to do. We have to do colonoscopies.
Right.
With ours is minimal prep, because now you don't have to be completely cleaned out, because you're going through the scanner. And we're only inserting 2.5 inches and pumping air in your stomach. So
Right.
the prep side is going to be so much easier than the conventional one.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We're talking with Martin GRAMATICA here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Lifeguardimaging.com. Lifeguardimaging.com. Saving lives through early detection. And and I think it's such a key thing to think about is these different measurements in life. Like I just had the double bypass about 20 months ago, something like that. And then I have a baby boy at home that's 5 months old. So when we kind of analyzed or looked at this data, I was like, wow, this is definitely something that makes sense. And it kind of resonated with me already having that traumatic event. And I think that's kind of what people need sometimes is you have to, unfortunately in life, you got to have it happen to a friend that's close to you or somebody, something small in your life maybe. But it takes sometimes that shaking up of people to have them realize like, wow, this could happen to me.
Well, you're the lucky one.
Right.
Because a lot of times heart attacks aren't survived.
Right.
So in your case, that you were able to get the bypass and you're able to survive it, you're a small percentage of the lucky ones that survive these heart attacks. When we detect heart disease,
Yep.
and or very high elevated score, you're at a point where a stent or the bypass can save your life before you get the heart attack.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're doing in our office. We've had so many cases. Like I said, my friend that had 95% blockage.
Yeah.
And she had no symptoms.
Wow.
So there's times where your first symptom is the heart attack.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's so important to come in early. The sooner you do it. The thing is, if you put it off and you say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. And I was a victim of that because I heard a radio ad about Lifeguard because I was a patient first and then became part of the company.
Okay.
So I heard an ad on the radio, on the bone, and I put it off. And I said, I'll go next week, I'll do it, and I'll call it. And all of a sudden, I'm on the plane to a Bucks game with two of the owners. So we overheard a conversation, and then all of a sudden, Frankie gets up. He's wearing a Chiefs jersey. It gave me a chance to say something. I said, hey, you can't wear a Chiefs shirt on a Bucks plane. So we hung out the weekend, and then 2 days later, I'm getting my scan.
Yeah.
And then I loved what they were doing. And you've been to the office, Brandon. It doesn't feel like a medical office.
Right.
We try to make everybody feel so comfortable because everybody's going to have a slight anxiousness, and you're going to have a little bit of a stress going in because we don't know what's inside our body, what's going on. So you're going to have a little bit of nervousness. So we want to make sure everybody feels comfortable, and we try to put them at ease.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved about, the whole staff was like a family, and I just had no question that I wanted to be a part of it, and that's why I'm on board.
Yeah. No, absolutely, Martin. And then you look at the, I believe it was the FDA just came out and they banned or totally pulled these jewels, these, little, you can see a lot of the kids vaping.
Right.
So that's another big point. A lot of the kids, they would vape. And, I say kids, you've got high school kids probably doing it, college. And then, of course, adults, it seems for a while there, everybody looks, somebody's got one of these things smoking, and you're like, what's going on? What is that? And so it's flavors, and it's, fruit flavors, and it's kind of confusing for people. But I got to think that right there is really causing a lot of lung cancer.
They say it's worse than the traditional cigarettes, which we know how bad the cigarettes are.
Right.
And that's one of the things with our scanner. We can detect, things in your lung. Obviously, the full body, we can see every organ from your chin to your pelvis.
Yep. And
we're catching everything early. We even with lungs, we can see, scar tissue if you had pneumonia, if you had COVID. So and these are information that you can take to your primary care doctor, your cardiologist, so you can take and do something about it.
Right.
Because if you don't know what's going on inside, there's nothing for you to do.
Yeah.
And now when we find something, then you can get it treated. The other thing is, if you're part of our legacy program, which means you're scanning every year,
Yep.
Now we set that baseline. Let's say hopefully everything's great.
Yep.
Now we have a baseline. So year one, we know where you're at. In year two, if something changes, now we know, okay, this wasn't there the first one. And our radiologist, board certified radiologist, is going to spend at least 45 minutes per scan, searching for everything and looking at every organ. So now this radiologist knows your scan. Now we see it the next year. And if something changes, now you can get it looked at and get it treated. So, so the legacy program is the ideal way to go. Because now you're scanning for your full body year after year.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just it's part of life where people, you don't think it's going to happen to you. and then it does. And then it's,
Right.
but it's funny how sometimes you flip that. People will go buy lottery tickets. So I'm going to win this lottery ticket. And the odds are like way worse, right?
Right.
And then you look at, the preventative care that's right here in our backyard, like you said, right here in Tampa Bay, right over close to, a lot of people know where the Bahama Breeze is there on the causeway heading towards Clearwater. Rocky Point, great location.
It's very easy for anybody in St. Pete, Clearwater, Tampa to get to. So we have people coming from Sarasota to our office, all the way from Ocala.
Wow.
We do, our marketing department does a phenomenal job getting the word out and getting our name out.
Yes.
And so we do all the home shows, we do all the local shows, we've done some golf tournaments. So you're going to start seeing us everywhere. But it's in our backyard.
Yeah.
So why not take advantage of it, especially when we're giving you a complimentary coronary artery scan?
Yes.
I mean, that's all you do is either call your show, call the office, let them know you heard us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and you qualify for that complimentary scan.
Yeah, so reach out. We'd love to put you in touch with Martin and his team over there at Lifeguard Imaging, 813-917-1894. Just call or text the hotline, and you get a free coronary artery scan. It's about, a $600 value.
Exactly. It's a $600 value. You're going to be in the scanner for 4 minutes. That's how fast it is. We're going to give you a consultation. One of our patient advocates is going to explain to you what other scans that are available, because we do have a full body scan available, or a la carte where they can do a lung, kidney. But I mean, obviously the full body is the way to go, because now we're seeing everything. That's where 90% of the cancers develop in our mid region.
Yeah.
And that's where we're scanning.
Wow. Yeah. It's crazy to think about that. All the stuff, all the different threats that we have, with the food supply, the fertilizers, the chemicals. Well, that's about our time for today, Martine. Where do you want? So lifeguardimaging.com, and then you got your social sites too.
Yes, we have every on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Lifeguard Imaging. You can find us on those. You can even find me on mine, Martin Gramatica 7 on Instagram. That's usually where I post the most information. So
cool.
Any of those, they could find us.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Thanks for coming in.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right, taking a quick break. Coming back with Mark Hay, 21st Central Financial Group, and we're going to talk about financial planning, life insurance, disability, retirement, and estate planning with Mark Hay and what's going on with the economy. The inflation is out of control. We're going to get his predictions on that and where taxes are going to go. More with Mark Hay coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Ward Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals. Hot listing here in Tampa Bay, 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. It's a gated community, gorgeous property. It's a corner lot location. You've got a private pool and a gorgeous property, 5,200 square feet, 5 bathrooms. You got a gorgeous estate-style home in the estates of White Trout Lake, spiral staircase to the second floor. You also have your own private elevator, large master suite, granite countertops, new appliances. You got a pool, heated spa, and it's a large fenced-in corner lot. Just a gorgeous property. Owner pride shines through in this beautiful property. 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. $1.159 million ask price on that property. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, financial professional Mark Hay in the house, 21st Century Financial Group. Mark, you wanted to talk a little bit about annuities today?
Yeah, we're going to handle a little bit of annuities and the markets, et cetera, and happy 4th of July to you and Independence Day.
That's
Hope you
right.
had a nice weekend.
Yes, sir. It was great, man.
Absolutely.
Good time celebrating the best country on the planet.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, so I was going to just touch base on that. You get people like Ken Fisher. I run into that all the time. Ken Fisher runs a good marketing campaign the last 10, 12 years of I hate annuities and you should too. And then gets them out of annuities and puts them into his assets under management.
Okay.
If I could have a slogan that I'm allowed to say, I would say I hate Ken Fisher and you should too, because it's just you can't take all annuities and lump them into one thing and say they're all bad.
Right.
Because they all fit, they all have a reason to do it. And people that have income annuities or some kind of guarantee inside their portfolio, mathematically last a lot longer in retirement. Their money's last, and longevity obviously is a concern in retirement because people are just living longer. If you're married, there's a 50% chance that one of you lives past 90. That's insane. 30, 40, 50 years ago it was 78 years old, and that was the most you're going to get to. And now we're going in hundreds is the fastest growing age group, and so longevity, it has to do with it. But we look at the markets. Again, we kind of talk about the markets, and the Nasdaq's down 30% this year to date, and the S&P's down 25%. It's the worst start of the year in over 52 years. Then you look at other markets. The Japanese market's been down for 30 years. The European market's been down to 20 years. And I'm not saying that we're looking at that, but imagine retiring January 1st and 20 years of retirement, you're in a down market.
Wow.
It's scary. People, it's a scary, real issue that people deal with, and that's the point of having an annuity in your portfolio. And certainly not all your money goes into annuity, but a lot of times people have a 60-40 split, 60 being equities, 40 being conservative, like a bond. And I tell people all the time, take that bond portion, and make it an income annuity or make it a fixed annuity. And what is an annuity? You got a fixed annuity, which just pays you a percentage, whether it's 3%, 4% for a period of time. You have an income annuity, which pays you an income for life, much like a pension or your Social Security. Mm-hmm. You have a fixed index, which, again, you don't have any fees to these products I'm mentioning, but a fixed index lets you participate in the market with a floor of 0. Now, you can add riders, and that certainly would be a fee, whether it's a death benefit rider, income rider. And then you have variable annuities, and that's the one that Ken Fisher kind of attacks and puts all the annuities into one with that, because that one does have fees. It's mutual funds, and it's managed, and, it has fees, but what are you getting? A variable annuity does give you a guarantee from any kind of market loss as well. So to compare that to a straight alone mutual fund is not really doing anybody a service.
Right. Yeah.
So that being said, we always try to look at what's your expenses a month. What is it just to pay bills? And then we go from there as far as where we're going to layer it.
Cool. All right, let's dive a little deeper into that and how that's going to be affected with the recent changes, what's going on in the economy. You know, everything's costing more from the pump to the grocery line. So more with Mark Hay coming up here. 21st Century Financial Group on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus our feel-good story of the day. 10-year-old brothers save drowning dad in pool. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
What you always try to look at is the trend of the market.
Five, four, three, two, one. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. In studio with Mark Hay, 21st Century Financial Group. Coming up more with Mark. We're going to dive deeper into what stagflation is and what's the actual state of the economy and a lot of the wasteful spending going on in D.C., how that's affecting us common folks here. And before we do, I want to let you know about a couple of our hot listings here in Tampa Bay. 27641 Lincoln Place in Wesley Chapel. This is a beautiful property in Pasco County, 3.24 acres, over 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, located in Saddlewood Estates. Got a beautiful home for sale, compliments of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Got an air-conditioned 3-car garage, breathtaking views and conservation area, Butler's Bar and Service area, screened-in pool lanai, minutes from the Grove, Tampa Premium Outlets, and Wiregrass Mall. Gorgeous property at 27641 Lincoln Place, Wesley Chapel, Florida. 3.24 acre estate. We also have a property at 1009 Woodley Drive. This is in Clearwater. It's another completely renovated, beautiful property on Woodley Drive. 1,380 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. Only a few miles from Clearwater Beach. Got a chef's kitchen, granite countertops, oversized island, double oven, cathedral ceiling in the garage, and you also have the new AC. Big backyard, perfect for a pool, and close to the sugar sand beaches of beautiful Clearwater Beach. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live with.
And you can also buy dirt. We got a lot of vacant land listings available through the Platinum MVP Team online at platinummvpteam.kw.com. www.kw.com. All right, we got Mark Hay in the house. He's our financial expert contributor for the Consumer Quarterback Show. And Mark, we talk a lot about economic conditions. Taxes are definitely going to be going up, and then we also hear this term stagflation thrown around. Are we in stagflation right now, or in that type of a market?
Yeah, and what's scary is it's unpredictable right now because of the spending that's going on in this country, and sending money overseas, and it's out of control. And I just saw California is going to give everybody inflation checks, to combat inflation, which makes 0 sense.
Right, but it makes them look good.
Yeah,
right?
It makes them look good,
Yeah.
and then so that check you get is going to help offset inflation.
But it's going to make it worse.
You got it. So it's scary to see it. And, so like you said, things are just going to have to change. The taxes are going to have to go up, and I just don't see how the market can continue to go up with all this happening at this point. And I think people are afraid. People have sold a lot and sitting on cash now, which I think that it's safe to say that you should be a little bit cautious at this point with the market.
Yeah.
And I think, and we talked last time, I think real estate helps keep the market up.
Right.
From how bad it could really be at this point.
Right. Yeah. I want to play a quick clip from Peter Navarro, and he's talking about the fundamentals of the market, and then I want to get your take on it, Mark. So this is Peter Navarro.
What you always try to look at is the trend of the market, right? And the trend right now, the stock market, is clearly down, and it's down because there are fundamental structural problems, structural rot in the economy that have to do, on the one side, with demand pull inflationary pressures, because there's simply too much congressional bad spending in the system that's not going to be productive in any way, and simply going to be it's going to be incendiary for inflation. And then you've got the structural issues associated with the Biden energy policy, which I think fundamentally is at probably the most important driver right now.
It's the root of everything, is the energy policy, right? It starts with energy.
Yep. And you look at the gas prices. I'm sure everybody saw President Biden came down on the CEOs of gas companies, demanding they lower the prices. And honestly, if you just open our pipeline, it would help out a lot, over here in this country as far as gas goes.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as energy goes, everything's up, 30, 40, 50% as far as energy costs. It's certainly gas is way up. But that's why we strive on having buckets of money and guaranteed income and having that kind of guarantee. So when the market does do this, you can let it sit and not have to live off it each month and watch it go down. And it's scary, to think about. And people don't understand too. Let's say you had $1 million and you saved your whole life and you got $1 million in retirement and you have this pocket of money, and now what? What do you do with that? The second half of your life is retirement. The second half of the game is retirement. So how are you going to spend that money? How do you invest it to live off of to last 30 years, and every day is Saturday? Because you're not working anymore, and then you and I work, and Saturdays we spend the most money. Because you're going out, you're having dinner, you're going to Home Depot, you're doing this and that. Every day is Saturday in retirement. So how do you spend that with that bucket of money that you accumulated? And if you have it just all in the market, it's a scary time right now, especially if you retire January 1st and you're looking at 30% drop and you're living off of it.
Right. Yeah. And the cost of rent are going up. The cost of almost every utility. We just received our highest electric bill at our home. I think it was like $468.
Wow.
And we've got 52 solar panels on our roof.
Holy
And
moly.
I started talking to my previous solar guy, and he was going through, you probably increase consumption, which we have. We added a pool and a heater. But yeah, so everybody across the board, they're filling it everywhere. And then for us to see our highest electric bill that we've ever seen, and then we started thinking about the root of that. And he's like, yeah, well, there's fuel going into generating that power for your home. Even though you do have solar to offset some of it, you're still not producing enough.
Right, and fuel drives a lot of things, like electricity, food. Everybody obviously knows that bacon and eggs and chicken is astronomical at this point. But it's going to keep going up. As long as gas is up, you have to transport the food somehow.
Yep.
And the trucks are bringing it over, and it costs more for the truck to bring it to the store, and the store's going to have to pay more for the food, etc. So it trickles down. So unfortunately, I don't see an end in sight as far as the fuel prices, which is going to drive everything up and continue on with this trend.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important to have some guarantee in the portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. Guaranteed. So when you think about that, when you sit down with folks, our audience out there, if they want to reach out, of course, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Reach out and you get a consultation with Mark Hay, 813-917-1894. What's your typical first steps with our audience when they do call and engage with you?
All we do is we just sit down and we find out where you're at, what you want to accomplish and where you want to be, and then we just connect those dots. Everybody has a plan. Sometimes it's not the plan they want. They plan they think they have, and so it's a matter of just having that meeting, and it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and I promise you, when you leave, you're going to be happy you did it.
Right. Because you're gonna walk away with something of value.
You got it, and it's not just retirement planning, estate planning, and wills and trust, and how leaving money. And some people have kids that have disabilities, and someone's going to have to take care of them. So every situation is different. When should you take Social Security? There's 567 different ways to take Social Security. How do you know which one is the best for you and your family? Believe me, you're not going to regret sitting down, and it's not going to be a long meeting.
Right. Yeah. That's great, man. Yeah, you want to have that peace of mind going into these retirement years and be able to enjoy that time. And then the more that you plan now, our last segment with Martine, preventative health, this is very similar, right?
Exactly.
You're preventative to your golden years being not so golden.
Exactly. And then, people don't factor in long-term care. Like we talked about, people are living into their 90s all the way to 100, and then what happens? You need care, and how are you going to care for that? And now you have these filial laws that the kids are now responsible for that debt when the parents pass.
Really?
Wow. I think it's over 30 states now have those laws intact where if the parents go in a nursing home or need care and spend money and now they get a bill sent to the kids on their demise.
Wow.
And say you owe $250,000 to this home.
Wow.
Well, if people don't plan for this, that's a huge burden on you and I.
Yeah.
And then now we're planning for our retirement, but now we get stuck with this bill. Well, how do you
account for that? Where does that come out of the budget?
So the government just doesn't have the money to spend anymore for the care, and
right.
So that you have to take responsibility for yourself and your family.
And that's what's just crazy to me is they're spending all of our money, sending it overseas, Ukraine and et cetera. And yes, we feel bad for those people. We feel sorry for those people. We've already given a lot of money to those folks over there that are in that situation. And our government just keeps spending money, sending money overseas, and then of course ignoring other, like our southern border.
Yeah, I don't understand how we are not allowed to have a border, but we got to have a border in Ukraine.
Exactly.
Why are we spending billions? And we have a fentanyl problem, we have crime problem, and it's all just coming from the border.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that we should just have it open.
Right.
What country would have an open border?
Yep.
But I think that we got to redirect the money into this country, and our schools need to be safer. There's no reason to send $7.8 billion last week to Ukraine to pay government officials' salaries. Why do we care?
Right.
We have enough problems over here. Why don't the business owner that's struggling or made it through
the
COVID,
veterans that are homeless.
Why are we not giving them the money?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's we can go on and on about it, but the point is they're going to spend and spend and spend. Your taxes are going to go up, and there's planning that needs to be done. And then the beautiful thing is, in America, you are free to take hold of your life, and you're allowed to do anything you want as far as planning, and you don't have to do what the government tells you to do. So just take the time and spend 30 minutes with us, and I promise you're not going to regret it.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to Mark Hay, 21st Century Financial Group, online. What's your website?
Yeah, xxifinancial.com.
xxifinancial.com. So that stands for 21st Century Financial.com. All right, Mark Hay. You can find him online as well. You got social going on out there?
Yeah, we got our Facebook page, 21st Century, which is linked to myself, obviously. And then certainly you can call me, 727-804-7220.
I want to play one more clip before we let you go here and get your take on this. So this is economy and top issues.
Democrat strategists have said that they're confident the overturning of Roe will motivate their base and help in the midterms. And that certainly could happen, but if you look at the numbers on which issues voters say are most important to them, abortion typically falls anywhere from 5th to 8th most important. So abortion, it's still well behind the economy, crime, and immigration in almost every poll. So it's no guarantee that the issue will be a huge benefit to Democrat candidates in November.
Okay, so that was a little bit different clip than I thought it was. But yeah, the top 5 things are not abortion, right? It's like economy. How do I feed my family? It's gas prices. How can I even take a summer vacation this year? Open border, which we were just talking about, immigration, and on and on. So there's just so out of touch right now.
Yeah, very out of touch, and they're recklessly spending the money.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary, is just to see the recklessness. And it doesn't really matter, Republican, Democrat at this point. They all just recklessly spend.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a budget and you don't start cutting waste, then the only thing that you can do is raise taxes.
Right.
And that's it. They're not going to cut. They're not going to cut themselves out.
Right.
So unfortunately, you're just going to see that increase. And with the market the way it is, people are going to get hit with higher taxes. They're going to get hit with the market decreasing like this, and the price of goods going up.
Yeah.
It's like the trifecta of the worst case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And then a lot of people don't even realize you throw in that ESG score stuff going on with Blackstone and how they're buying up assets, these hedge funds, buying up homes that normally a veteran could buy, or, you and I, friends of ours that could go out and buy. They're competing with these hedge funds that have unlimited funds, basically, because the government's handing out loans or pretty much free money to them at 0 to 0.25% interest through ESG, that environmental. How, in other words, how woke you are as a company, and your and that social and the corporate governance comes into your diversity, equity, inclusion department, formerly known as the HR department. So we're getting hit from a lot of different sides here, Mark. But what people can do is we want to be concerned with these things, but you've got to have that sphere of control. What can you control, right?
Yeah, and you can certainly control yourself and your family and your finances, and we have the ability to help everybody. And we help other advisors. We work with other advisors, so we're not in competition with each other. We're all on the same team.
Yeah.
And we want to help the consumer and the families achieve the goals they need to achieve and protect the families.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, work with the local area expert contributor. We got Mark Hay, 21st Century Financial Group. It's all about supporting the local economy here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and being a more informed consumer, being smarter with your money, making your money go further, especially in retirement with Mark Hay. And thanks a lot, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. All right. We're taking a quick break, coming back with Jeanette, that is Salden, Febre Frameworks. Jeanette's going to be on the program, and she is our real estate photographer, expert contributor for the Consumer Quarterback Show. You've heard Manny Febre and Sean Febre on the show as well over the years. And taking a quick break, plus our feel-good story of the day, 10-year-old brother saved dad from drowning in pool. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a Consumer Quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, every day telling you something positive.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is the 10-year-old brothers that saved a dad from drowning in the pool. And Alabama fathers says it still makes him emotional to think about the day he almost drowned. And it also fills him with pride because it was his own young sons and their friend who saved him. Brad Hassing was swimming in his pool in the backyard Birmingham with his two 10-year-old sons, Bryden and Christian, and their friend Sam. And he says, quote, I like to do breathing exercises. It's peaceful and relaxing. I love being underwater. I say the Lord's Prayer when I'm doing this. It's kind of a meditation. I don't remember finishing it, Brad said. Then he said, since I had goggles on, I could see his face and it was turning very light blue. That's what Christian said, his son. I told his son, he says, Dad's not okay. So they pull him. They end up pulling the unresponsive father to the steps of the pool, started resuscitating his dad. He first gave him CPR and then giving him mouth to mouth. And then he started throwing up foam and salt water and blood. And it was just like I got slammed on my side, Brad said. When I came to, I'm coughing up blood and water, struggling to breathe. And there are people everywhere. My one son yelling, Daddy, Daddy, come back. So Brad was taken to the hospital where he's admitted for cardiac intensive care unit for 24 hours. And he goes on to say, I mean, it's just emotions, just overwhelming that your boys saved your life. And he said there's no way physically they should have been able to do what they did. And then the day that he came home, he says, was the happiest day of his life, happiest moment of his life. So there you have it. There's our 10-year-old boys saving their father from drowning in the pool. All right, we're going to the phone lines. Manny Febre Frameworks. How are you, sir?
How's it going, Brandon?
Excellent. Blessed and highly favored, my friend. And yourself?
Pretty good, man. Doing great.
Awesome. What's new over at Febre Frameworks?
Right now, man, we're chugging along here. We updated our packages to include single-page websites, a MLS headliner, which is basically a nice front photo for your first picture on the MLS, where it has a nice sunset, so it captures the attention of buyers looking on, the MLS or Zillow, wherever they're looking at.
Nice. So you call that the MLS frontliner?
Yeah, MLS headliner. It's just like when you're looking at so many pictures and you always see the blue sky, it's nice to see like a sky with different colors, so it really catches the attention. And if the realtor knows how to, pretty much put the pictures in the right order, you could really catch somebody's attention quickly.
I like that. And you got single property websites too?
Yeah, so we got a single property website, and then you also get a full marketing suite now. So it's easy. It's pretty much an automated marketing suite where all the flyers get designed, and you just pretty much can adjust it with just putting different pictures on there. And it's an all-new updated customer portal to show all your previous orders, and you can check them in at any time of the, anytime you want, all your orders that you have there and all the existing photos.
That's awesome. So you got professional photography, you got the drone shots included as well. People love those drone shots, don't they, Manny?
Oh, yeah. I mean, man, that really changed the game. I mean, when we started in 2016, I don't think they were being used as much. And then as soon as we included it with every package, we blew up. So they definitely help out. I mean, there's some times where it could be a hindrance, but for the most part, they definitely have changed the game for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Manny Febre, owner of Febre Frameworks on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And you got a great team over there. You got Jeanette, Savannah, of course, your brother, Sean. You got a great team and getting a lot of deals done.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Brandon, it's crazy. I mean, I think that it kind of shows a tribute to our working environment. We just did our quarterly meeting, and we have so many team members right now that have been with us for 2, 3, 4, 5 years already. So, time flies, but if you keep the working environment solid and you give everybody a fair opportunity to prove themselves with yearly evaluations, you tend to really keep your team members around for a long time.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's awesome. And you're covering a lot of areas, not just in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we're covering Orlando, Miami, basically all the major metros in Florida right now, and I think eventually we might start slipping into Georgia here shortly and get to Atlanta and start expanding out to different locations. But right now we're really focused on growth and expansion within Florida, and we want to make sure that we got this state down pat before we go out and to a different state, because I mean it is nice working in Florida. We also do save a lot on the taxes, so there's a lot of benefits to staying in this state.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And you got some pretty high-end properties. We just listed a $10 million property in North Carolina and unfortunately we couldn't utilize your services up there. But it's important when we did get the photography back, it came out looking great. But I mean, especially for those luxury listings, it's more important now than ever to really have work with the best. And Febre Frameworks, 99% customer appreciation and service I see on your website there. People love working with you guys.
Yeah, I would say, man, that's the biggest thing, honestly, Brandon. Throughout our tenure of being in business, we really wanted to make sure that customer service was number one, because there are a lot of one-man operations out there. There's different companies that are nationwide. But for us, we really wanted to focus on the customer service aspects, because that's so huge to customers. I mean, for me, when I'm doing business with somebody else, I mean, customer service really is number one. And I can look past a lot of stuff if I'm getting good customer service in exchange. And that's one thing that throughout the process, we want to make sure that everybody's, as happy as they can be with their final and finished product.
Yeah, and I love the virtual staging as well, being able to take a vacant photo in a vacant room and add in the 3D rendered virtual furniture to be able to conceptualize the living arrangement of any floor plan.
No, and I agree with you, Brandon, because, a lot of times you get these vacant homes and, it's tough to imagine furniture or how you would set things up. So with that virtual staging, not only do you save thousands, because compared to actually getting the house staged, you're talking about maybe $3,000 to $4,000 to get a stager in there. Not to knock them, because they do a great job. But if you're looking for something that's, affordable and very time efficient, the virtual staging definitely helps out a tremendous amount. And now we've even been able to eliminate, let's say, where you have like some boxes or some furniture you don't want in a room that's being cluttered and it's not getting removed. We can actually remove them digitally and then restage it with the digital furniture to make it look very nice and presentable.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. So check them out online, Febre Frameworks. You're at FebreFrameworks.com.
Yep, FebreFrameworks.com. We're all over Google. You'll see us. We're a 5-star business with over 240 reviews. So we really pride ourselves on those reviews and what our customers say about us. So definitely check us out. Give us a call if you have a listing. We're very fast and we can get you in quickly.
All right, Manny Febre, say hello to the team. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon.
Take care. All right. Hey, another great show. Martine GRAMATICA, Lifeguard Imaging, Mark Hay, 21st Century Financial Group, and Manny Febre, Febre Frameworks. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And make sure you check out ConsumerQB.com. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.